The month is winding down, and that means it's time for the Maybe series. Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and today is the February 2025 Maybe series. If you're new here, the Maybe series is a list I compile towards the end of the month of what I might read in the upcoming month. So I basically just make a list of what I'm interested in reading. I put a picture of it here, talk to you a little bit about it, why I put it on the list, etc. And then I pare down my final lineup from this list. There's also a spot on my lineup reserved for my book club book. I run a book club. And yeah, so this one's usually pretty short. Before we get into it, make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I'm posting. I post every week, and all we do on this channel is talk about books. So if you like listening to people talk about books, here I am every week doing just that for you. Does anybody else feel like this month could not go on any flippin' longer? I feel like we have been in January for like 2 years. I'm struggling so much. I don't know if y'all are struggling too. It's been too much. January has been a bit too much for me. So far, I am not impressed with 2025, okay? She needs to calm down a little bit. Things have just been a little bit too wild for me. I was really hoping for a slow January. Not this slow. Like, it feels like the days are just dragging on. I meant like not chaotic. And for some reason, the days have been long and chaotic, both. And that's not really what I was hoping for. But here we are. Yeah, I know, like in my little catchphrase or whatever thing that I use that I post every week. Sometimes I don't. Honestly, sometimes I just cannot make myself come into my room and film. Sometimes I just simply can't. And I feel like that's going to happen more and more as the year progresses. I just can't. Sometimes I just can't force myself to do it. So, and I don't want to force myself to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to come up and force myself to make a video to give to you guys that's just crap, because I'm not going to be in a good mood or I'm not in a good place mentally. So I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to control the things I have control over and let go of things I can't control. So sometimes I cannot control how I'm feeling. Like, sometimes I'm literally just buried, okay? And I cannot force myself out of it. So sometimes that takes time. And I'm just at a point in my life now where I'm like, don't put more on your plate if you really can't handle it. So if I really can't handle it, I cannot be here. I don't know. I hope you guys understand that. The like 15 of you that like actually watch my channel regularly. Thank you, by the way. But yeah, I hope you guys are all understanding that I can't always be here. I can't always show up, okay? Because sometimes I'm not even showing up for myself. So, yeah, now that the sad part is over, I am happy to be here today. I am excited about the February lineup already. So February is Black History Month. So my whole list today, the whole Maybe series list today, is books by Black authors, which I'm so excited about, okay? I'm pretty sure the book club book will not be a book by a Black author. And there's not a whole lot I can do about that because we do a voting system, and so it just depends on what gets put onto the poll that month and what people are interested in reading. There was a book by a Black author on there. I voted for it. I was so happy to see it there. I don't think that book is going to win, though. It was tied for second, so I don't know. We'll see what becomes of that. But yeah, let's not waste any more time. This has been a super long intro, so let's get into it. The first book on my list is This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. Okay, I read Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I think it was 2 years ago. I think it was 23 when I read that. We read it for my book club. I absolutely adored that book. Okay? And then, sometime last year, I come to find out that this book is a sequel to that book. And so in Before I Let Go, we're following a female main character that is going through like a reconciliation type second chance relationship with her ex-husband, and she has 2 other friends that she's very close with, shares all of her life with, and everything like that. I found out that basically Kennedy Ryan is making a book based on each of the friends. And so this book is about the friend, if you've read Before I Let Go, this book is about the friend that has the daughters that stays home and like she's sort of unhappy in her marriage. In the first book, like you can tell there's some choppy waters there. So this book is about her, and I'm assuming her breakup with her husband, if I'm reading the premise correctly. I'm so excited because I loved Before I Let Go. It was just a deeply mental health trauma book that had just the most beautiful ending. I loved that book. And so I'm interested to see if Kennedy Ryan could carry that same energy from the first book to the second book. Now, the third book, it has been pre-released. I think it's coming out this year. So I probably will not get to the third book this year, but I am really excited about this book. I'm really hoping I can get it in this month. The next book on the list is We Deserve Monuments by Jas Hammonds. Okay, I talked about this in, I think it was like the 2025 goals. I read Jas Hammonds' Thirsty this last summer. I absolutely loved that book. It was brilliant. Okay, I loved that book. I remember when I was looking at Jas Hammonds, I picked this book first, but I couldn't get it, so I got Thirsty instead. I'm a little bit nervous about this book because it is a YA book, okay? And like genuinely, I've been trying to stay away from YA because I just don't connect as well as I used to. You know what I mean? I'm not in that part of my life anymore. Like, quite clearly, I'm not YA anymore. So, it's harder for me to connect, quite honestly. So, I tend to just steer away from YA. But I love Jas Hammonds, okay? And this is the only other book that she's put out. I think she's slated for a third book this year. I think she was the author I was looking at that was putting out another book this year. Maybe it was Erin E. Adams that's putting out another book. I don't know. This is the only other book she has out right now. So, and I think this is about a coming of age story. Like, she's in her senior year in Washington, D.C., and her family gets uprooted and moved. She's devastated. Obviously, it's her senior year. Her life is ruined. She's being moved to a new city, a new state, far away from her friends and her regular life that she's used to. And when they land where they land, I think they end up moving in with her grandmother that's like elderly and needs like assistance. Like, that's the reason that they're there, is because her mother is taking care of her grandmother. She starts to notice that there's a lot of generational trauma that has never been brought up and a lot of really deep rooted family secrets. It sounds devastating, honestly, and because I've already read Jas Hammonds, I'm sure it's really going to be gut-wrenching. Okay, I absolutely love Jas Hammonds' writing though. Thirsty blew me away. So if I don't read this in February, I want to read this year. And I do remember putting Jas Hammonds on the reread list for 25. So this would really kill like two birds. And I think this is a rainbow book too. So lots of great rep. The next book on my list is Pushout by Monique W. Morris. This book sounds really interesting because I'm pretty sure it's nonfiction. It's called like Pushout, and then it has like a longer name, like the criminalization of Black girls in public schools. I don't think it's a collection of stories. I think it's one story that she's expanded on and like used as a way to draw attention to the criminalization of Black girls in public school. It sounds really interesting, and it's pretty short, so I might be able to read it quickly. If you guys don't know, February is a short month. Just like in general, February does not have as many days, so there's like literally less time to read. I know what you're thinking, like, oh, it's like only 4 days or 3 days shorter than some of the other months. That's a lot of days, okay? That's a lot of hours. You could read a whole book in one of those, in 2 of those days. So yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna do our best, okay? But this book sounds really interesting, because I'm pretty sure it's nonfiction. And Monique Morris has written a lot of other books that center around true stories of Black children in America and like the way that they're racially criminalized compared to white children. So yeah, I find this topic really interesting. We'll see if I can get it, okay? The next book on my list is Someday Maybe by Onyi Nwabineli. I don't know if I said that right, okay? So I will just apologize if it's incorrect. Okay, first of all, the cover, y'all. I don't know. I love this cover. I love it. This one caught my eye, obviously, like the cover, like, and then I looked into it. This is about a woman who finds her husband dead after he commits suicide. And that's pretty much all the description was. Okay. I do get from the description also that she is a mom, so she has children. So yeah, a lot of people said this book is insanely heavy. Lots of trauma, lots of grief. Which, if that's the plot point of the story, yeah, I could see how that'd be very trauma filled and have a lot of grief. I don't know if I can handle this book. I'm gonna be honest, okay? Life's been a little lot lately, and I don't know if I can handle something so, like, blatantly sad, okay? I know this is gonna be sad. Just reading the description, I know this is gonna be a heavy one. Am I still interested in it? Yes. For right now, I don't know. We might have to wait and see how I feel in a few months. But I'm interested to see if I can even get it, okay? Because sometimes books are so popular, I can't get them right away. So if it's one of those things where this book has like a really long hold on it or something, then I'll just get in line. And then when it pops up, I'll see how I feel when it pops up. So yeah. The next book on the list is Black Queen by Jumata Emill. The cover on this one too, you guys. I mean, come on. So I found this book in a list of thriller books by Black authors. The cover really got me, okay? And then I looked into it. This is about a young Black girl that is supposed to be up for homecoming queen, and then I think she won, actually. And then the night of the coronation, she ends up dead. And not just like dead, like murdered. And they found her in an old slave cemetery that she like spends her time restoring, that's the word. Refurbishing does not sound like the right word. So yeah, and then it kind of spills, the description for this was super long, but then it like kind of spills into how her family, like her dad is like the first Black police officer in their town, and that the girl that was like the runner-up is sort of this rich white affluent family in the town. So yeah, sounds really interesting, okay? The other part of this that caught my attention is Jumata Emill is actually a former crime journalist. So I feel like the writing in this is going to be really good. I have talked about this before when I've read nonfiction books. If you have not read, oh shoot, what is the name of that book? For the life of me, I can't remember what the name is. I'm going to put it here, but it's by Michael Finkel, okay? If you have not read a nonfiction book by a professional writer, and I mean, I hate saying that. I hate saying like professional writer, but like Michael Finkel is a journalist, okay? And when you read a nonfiction book written by someone that's just a nonfiction writer versus someone that's like versed in journalism, I don't know, it's so much more alive because they're used to writing these short, punchy, attention-grabbing pieces because they have limited space, right? Reading something that's written by a journalist feels so different from things that are written by typical fiction authors, okay? I don't know how to explain it. If you've not written or not read something that's written specifically, or like a full-length novel, not just like a news story. If you've not read a book by a journalist, I highly recommend, because it's just a totally different experience. Like, I feel like the writing is just different. So that really caught my attention too, that Emill is a former crime journalist. That really makes me interested in reading it. Plus the cover. I mean, this is a YA book. So, but we're talking about like young adults that are practically adults, like they're in their senior year. So we're not talking about like 15-year-olds. We're talking about like 18-year-olds. So, I don't know. This one caught my attention for a lot of different reasons, so we'll see. This is the last one. It's Invisible Sun by Kim Johnson. Okay, this is another YA one. I don't know why there's so many YA ones on this list. Maybe because they all sound really good, and the kids in this book do sound older. Like, they're, like I said, they're not 13, 14, 15-year-olds. They're like almost out of high school, almost like adult age people. I don't know. Okay, let me do the premise of this. This is about a kid that gets arrested for a crime he did not commit. And as he starts to like unravel the crime after he's been arrested and released, and he wants to figure out who committed the crime that he was accused of committing. And so this is sort of his story of how he does that. Obviously this focuses on like racial injustices and things like that. He simply was in the wrong place at the wrong time kind of thing, and because he was not white, he was automatically picked up instead of them actually like looking for who could have done it. This was also on the Thrillers by Black author list, and it really caught my eye. And this particular writer, Kim Johnson, focuses on social justice thrillers. I don't really think I've ever read something that's been categorized as that, a social justice thriller. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons it went on the list, because I don't think I've quite read anything that's described like that. And I will get into this next month, but I read a thriller in January and boy was I unimpressed, okay? So I really would like a decent thriller this month, and 2 of these books are supposed to be thrillers, all right? The Black Queen one and this one, Invisible Sun. It would be really nice to read a decent thriller and social injustice thriller. I don't know. Like I said, I've never read anything like that, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. Like I said, short, sweet. The maybe series are always kind of short, okay, because I don't really have a lot to tell you. Because I haven't read the books. I don't really have an opinion. It's more like a wish list of books, you know, and sometimes I pay attention a lot when I read the premises, and sometimes I just skim, okay, and I see some words in there that I like, and I add it to the list. I'm really excited about February. I'm probably going to try and get some of these on audio today because I have like chores and stuff I need to do. And I like listening to my audiobooks while I do chores. It's kind of like a little treat, you know. I'm reading and I'm getting stuff done, you know. Sometimes, do you guys ever feel like when you sit down to read, like sit down and read a physical book, you're like, oh my gosh, I could be doing this, I could be doing that, and like your brain is just going nonstop about all the things you should be doing instead of enjoying yourself reading your book? Because that happens to me a lot. It does. And it is sort of the reason why I've switched to audiobooks more this year, because I can actually get things done and listen to my book, and it's like makes the chore sort of fun. You're like, oh, I get to listen to my audiobook while I fold my laundry. Like, maybe that's just me. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can get any of these on audio and possibly get one started. Like I said, I will be here when I can be here. I'm not promising a lot. 2025 is going to be weird for me. I will tell you guys more about that as we get further into 25, I guess. It's going to be a weird one for me. So yeah, we're just going to see where that takes us. Let me know if you're reading anything for Black History Month, or if you have any favorite books by Black authors that you absolutely want to share with me. I love hearing from you guys. Make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I'm posting. I post every week. And yeah, leave me a comment, tell me all the things. I will be doing a post on some of my favorite books by Black authors later this month. Yeah, just remember you can diversify your bookshelf every month, any month, it doesn't matter. But I like to put a little spotlight on February because we are celebrating Black History Month, just like I do in November when we celebrate Indigenous Heritage Month. I always put a spotlight on that as well, and just like I do with Pride Month. So remember, you can always diversify your shelf all year long. There does not have to be a special occasion. Every month is a good month to shake up your bookshelf and add something new. So without any further ado, that's all I have for you guys for today, and I will see you all next time. Bye.